Welcome back to Riella's Army of Dolls, and I'm here to share my love of fashion dolls with you. Now, as you would know if you've been watching my channel, I did have the good opportunity earlier this year to go to the ABC Doll Convention in Sydney. It is the only doll convention that runs in Australia. It's biannual and it was such a great opportunity. I did not expect the fun that I would have. If you haven't watched my videos from the convention, there are 3 of them and I will put a link in the description. Please go watch them. You will have a ball. But one of the amazing things about convention is that you come back with so many dolls. It's something I didn't really expect and I probably should have. Doll convention, you get some dolls. Yeah, it goes without saying, but so many of them. Because I had such a great time at the event, I have created a single shelf in my doll room where I love to display some of my favorites from the convention. It's just a reminder, makes me relive the fun of convention. And I did have a request from a viewer to have a closer look at the dolls that I got at convention. So that's what we're going to have a look at today. I'm going to introduce you to my doll finds. There were basically 4 different ways that you could get dolls at the convention. First of all, there were souvenir dolls that are included in the price and that you were going to come home with. Secondly, there were prize dolls that you could win. For example, there were table centerpieces. There were also games and activities that ran throughout the days where quite often some of the winners would get a doll. Thirdly, there were raffles. These ran every single day of the convention. You could buy tickets in advance. They were incredibly competitive. Lots of people had enormous number of tickets and quite a few people did not win prizes because there were just so many tickets out there. I was lucky enough to win 2 and I calculate that I maybe broke even on my ticket prices for the raffles. The last way to get dolls was the sales room. This took place on the last day and I would not be lying to say that it was possibly the most chaotic but also the most incredible day of my entire life. It was just a doll collector's dream. There were so many dolls, the prices were amazing, and I came home with a giant suitcase full of dolls. So many, they were overflowing. I had to send some home in the mail. So let's take a look at those dolls now. The first doll was a gift from Mattel, and every single person at the convention got this doll. She is Champagne Chic, Barbie's signature, and although she isn't actually labeled this way because I have changed the name, kind of think of her as an offshoot of the chromatic couture line. These have been convention dolls for a while. They're really nice model muse body dolls that come with a simple and monochromatic, so single colored outfit. One of the things I really admire about this doll is the dangle earrings. Very few Barbies have those metal earrings, really matching the quality of an Integrity Toys doll, and I think they are just beautiful. Her clasp at the center is matching that, and it all suits her champagne color scheme that gives her her name. The dress has this ruching all the way up the front that gives it a really nice style. The only thing I'm sorry about with this doll is that she doesn't have a floor-length gown. It's more like a cocktail dress. And I'm sure there are some people who look at this doll and think that is gorgeous. I love that dress. I just wish it was a bit more. I do think it's really nice and I love this doll's face. She is a really pretty sculpt and one I don't think I've had before. The dress itself is just something I feel is a little bit forgettable. As with most Barbies, she has pretty basic shoes. They are nice and I like the way they're kind of clear. They make me think of Cinderella. It is a fun touch. I'm told that there isn't always a Mattel gift doll at the convention, but it is quite common. And this is a really pretty doll to have received. The second doll is the official convention souvenir. Now you didn't have to receive this doll. You could choose to. She was an extra cost when you purchased your ticket. She was 130 Australian dollars, which I think for a unique Barbie is actually pretty good. I didn't realize at the time, but the way these convention souvenirs are done, not only for the ABC doll convention, but also for many of the international doll convention, is that a base doll is chosen, usually a holiday doll or another reasonably priced doll with a high-end body, and then they are adapted and customized into something that suits the convention theme. This year's convention was It's Showtime, which I had already imagined to be linked to the circus, which is why I made my Harley Quinn custom doll who had a circus theme on her horse. And all of the convention souvenir dolls did have a circus theme. There were 3 of them in total. Mine is the Ringmaster, and she comes with this stylized version of the circus leader's outfit. I love the hat she has. It's a little velvet top hat that's lined on the inside so that it doesn't stain her head. And then she has lots of little features that just make this outfit really pop, like the little rose detail on her collar, the gold beading. She's got these awesome fishnet tights and long boots. One of the things that really makes this doll incredible is the box she comes in. So much work has been done to do the curtains on this box that make it look like the opening scene from a circus. Cover of the box is this beautiful black case, and it tells you what doll you have, which is the Ringmaster, and also the other details about it. We can see that there were 85 dolls in total, of which 33 were the Ringmaster, and that tells us roughly how many people didn't buy a doll. I think there were just under 115 people at the convention. As a gift, we got this little booklet that tells us all about the convention. I'm definitely going to be holding on to this book, but one thing it showed us is all of the different dolls that we could get. So there were actually 3 in total. And when I saw these, I really felt that they were better as a set than just one. I like all 3 of them individually, but somehow they don't speak to me as much except as a set. So my current project is actually to customize a full set of these dolls. I've identified which holiday dolls were used as the base, and now I'm going about making the outfits. So far I have the acrobat, and I'm very happy with what I've done with her. She's never going to be exactly like the one in the image, but to me, she is a great copy or example of it. I 3D printed the hoop for her, which I've painted gold, and I found this stretch fabric on Temu that was close enough to make her costume for her. The boots come from AliExpress, and I believe they are exactly the same ones that the other doll is wearing. I haven't yet had an opportunity to make the lion tamer, but I have the base doll here. Again, I identified which holiday doll she was made from, and I'm going to be creating her to be the lion tamer very soon so that I will have a full set of the dolls. The only other thing I would rate as a doll that was included in the package was this really adorable little Oscars style Barbie. It is proper metal. We were all given this at the end of the convention, and I think it is just beautiful. It's not exactly a doll, but it is a lovely addition. Now, I was lucky enough to win the first night centerpiece. The only disadvantage of that is that I knew I wasn't in the running to win any of the other centerpieces, but one is definitely better than none, and she is just beautiful. She comes with her own poodle, who even he has been customized to have a little matching outfit to hers. She has this wonderful black underwear set that I think goes so well with her sultry expression. She's also a beautiful customized holiday doll, and I just love this one. She is an incredible sculpt and so beautiful. Her underwear set goes with her incredibly well, and she has this beautiful mirror behind her. I think she was called Boudoior with Prince, and you can see that she is a real boudoir doll. Prince is her poodle, and he is such a beautiful companion with her. I love the little detailing again on this doll, like the little pearl feature on her underwear, both the top and bottom. And she comes with these thigh-high stockings. I might find some shoes to go with her as well, but the idea is she is just getting ready for the event, which is going to happen next. That is the Showtime event. On the first day, we also had a really fun game where if you bought a $5 ticket, everybody won a bag, but there were also 1 in 5 prizes. Now, it was anyone whose number ended with a 0 or a 5 who got a prize, which mine did, and so I was able to come up and choose a prize from the box. There were some amazing ones. Some of the best went just before I got there, like there were even some silk stones, but I love this Bob Mackie collector doll. She isn't one of the rarest dolls out there, but I think the outfit is just really classic, really beautiful, and I was delighted when I saw that she was still there when I got there, and I was able to grab her, and I thought, wow, that is a really nicely spent $5 to get this doll. I didn't even quite understand what the competition was going to be, and I think I bought one of the last 3 or 4 tickets that was even available, so I felt pretty lucky. There were a lot of other little games and events that happened, and quite a few of them had very playline items. I did get this cute little Totally Hair playhouse in one of them. Not the sort of thing I generally collect, but Totally Hair is one of my favorites, so I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to keep that one. Some of the prizes that I won were more like regiftables for kids, and that was done as well. My friend had some nieces and nephews in Sydney, so she took some of our little prizes for them. But this one I decided would stay in my collection. When it came to the raffle prizes, there were a lot on offer. There were amazing ones and there were less amazing ones. I won this Barbie in the pink gingham from the movie. She did come as a set with a can. I went in for this doll not so much because I love her, but because I had a costume of this dress at home that I was going to dress up for an event, and I thought it would be great to have a Barbie with me. She didn't seem to have got a lot of tickets, so I went in and I was really happy to win because it would have cost me about $40 to buy this doll to go with my costume, and that meant I didn't need to. She is a fun doll. I don't know if I'll open her, and I don't know if I'll decide to keep her in the long run, but I do think she is cool and I was happy to win her. My second win was one that was more exciting for me. It was this special resin doll who is 16 inches tall. Now, there weren't a lot of dolls out there at the convention who were not Barbie, and I was actually more interested, generally speaking, in the ones that weren't Barbie. And this one in particular was very special because I knew exactly who she was. This is one of the very early dolls by Jozef Szekeres, who is the designer of GlamourOz. I have done a few videos about him and I was delighted to meet him at the convention, which was pretty awesome because I really admire his work. And in some ways, I actually admire these early ones even more than I do his glamorous, jointed modern dolls. I just love the body style that these ones had. They are not jointed, and I guess that's the downside of them. We don't have jointed knees, we don't have jointed elbows or wrists, but they're these very statuesque, beautiful dolls who are a little bit more like a mannequin. She is wearing a Robert Tonner dress. It isn't a perfect fit on her. I've popped a pin in the back because she is a little bit skinnier. So taking it off so that you can see what her whole body looks like, you can see these incredible curves that she has. She's a really interesting doll because she is asymmetrical. She leans to the side. In that way, she really reminds me of the model Muse Barbie. And she even has multiple arm styles, so you can get some with a bent arm and so on. And so they are quite similar and have a great beauty to them. She fits a wide variety of different clothes and shoes, although you may need to customize them or put a little pin in. This is Elizabet Bizelle, and there is a new version of her in the current GlamourOz line, and she has a taller and fully jointed body. They're both beautiful dolls, but this one to me feels like a real artwork that I was just so happy to win. I'm told that I let out a cry of joy when I won this one. I didn't win any other raffles, and there were tons, but I have heard that some people had significantly more money in their tickets and didn't win. So definitely something I'll be thinking about next time I'm at a convention. Now, after that was the sales room on Sunday morning, and what can I say? There is just so much I could say about this event. I must have bought 30 dolls, maybe even more. It was insane. And so I'm just going to talk to you about some of my favorites. Here are my favorite Barbie purchases. I got Totally Hair 25th anniversary. She is signed, adds a unique detail. She's obviously not the vintage one, but to be honest, I don't mind. I just love this doll, and she was really extremely cheap. I was shocked that she was still there when I got to this person's stand, as Totally Hair is so popular, but perhaps a lot of people already had this doll, and so she waited just for me. She's in perfect condition, although the box has some squashing. This is one who is definitely going to be staying here. I think she is just gorgeous, one of my favorite Barbies of all time, and she is renowned for being the most popular Barbie of all time. Secondly, I got this Pop Life collection. She did have her outer box. I took it off for shipping purposes because it was damaged. I love this doll because of her hairstyle, and she has the Steffi face sculpt, which I think is beautiful, one of my favorite Barbie sculpts. This is also a really interesting doll because she has the pivotal doll body, which was sort of halfway between the Model Muse body and shoes with base. She's meant to have the beautiful and statuesque proportions of Model Muse while still being really nice and posable, and you can see her sitting on her chair. She's also clearly a very mod styling. All those features just make her super fun, and one of the things that I really like about this doll is that she actually has little fabric shoes with base. They are going to probably collapse if I ever take her off because they feel like a sort of faux leather, but nonetheless, I think that makes her cool and stand out, as very few Barbies have anything other than molded plastic shoes. But, well, you can see that it's really her hair that does this doll, can't you? Missing an earring. I might have lost that somewhere because I think she had them both when I got her. I'll have to have a look. My two favourite sellers at the sales room were side by side, and they were selling a mix of Integrity Toys dolls and Robert Tonner and 16-inch dolls. So this was just a goldmine of joy for me, and it's hard to pick favourites, but these are a couple of the ones I was just really delighted to come home with. On the right, we have Kyori Criminally Chic. She came as a 2-set, and I did get both of them, but you know me, I'm really not into the male dolls, so Kyori is staying, but not her companion. I love this doll because she has a really cool sculpt and hairstyle, but most importantly, she has a truly incredible outfit. I love that it is full length, and you might notice a theme here. Both of these dolls are wearing full length gowns, but I also love the beautiful split up the thigh that just opens up and reveals her leg. It is really stylish, and as with most Integrity Toys outfits, it's just so beautifully fitted, and it's got this great shaping around the bust that is fab. The second one I've chosen is an Agnes von Weiss because she is just one of my favorite sculpts. Between Poppy Parker and Agnes, it would be hard for me to choose. They are number one. This one is Concerto in M, and she is a limited edition of only 500, and several of the dolls that I got from the Integrity Toys lines were very, very limited at this convention. She is in really nice condition. I did have to clean her face a little bit. It had a little bit of staining on it, but that was totally fine for the price that I paid. I was happy with that. And she has, again, this incredibly just immaculately fitted gown. It's black silk. It's got this awesome oversized red belt, cutouts at the bust, and it is just so stylish. It's got a fishtail bottom. I love this doll, and I was so delighted at the convention. It was really interesting because as it was primarily Barbie, a lot of the great deals on non-Barbie items were being passed up. So I was able to get some dolls that I really thought I would never see, and they were at amazing prices. These sellers did also have some amazing 16-inch and larger dolls. I also got some American Model by Robert Tonner, but a couple of my favorite 16-inch dolls were here. So this one is a Jean Marshall, but she's special because she's from the Integrity Toys era, and she has a fully jointed and really beautiful posable body that is quite desirable and hard to find. This is the Star Entrance doll. She was a gift set. I only got her with the one outfit, but it is my favorite because I just admire so much how well fitted this outfit is. Not too dissimilar, in fact, from the Integrity Toys dolls I've just been showing you. She still has the classic Jean Marshall sculpt. That is one of the things that has made this doll so popular and so enduringly popular. As with most dolls of this variety, the shoes do tend to give out and the glue just separates. That is fine. I'm used to it. I'll either find new shoes for it or I'll glue them back together. The doll beside her is a really unique one, very uncommon to find, and I was really stunned when I saw her at this convention. This is a doll by DAE. She's called Vivienne. She is not posable, although they do have a newer version of this doll, much more recent, who is fully resin and who is posable. She's another one where, interestingly, I probably prefer the earlier doll. She has a really striking face sculpt. This particular one was called Va-voom. Recognize her because she has the streak in her hair, which is pretty cool. And she comes wearing an original outfit, Jeannie Martini. She's just a really fun doll. Again, missing the heels of her shoes, but so be it. That's the sort of thing that happens with time. Really unique. Just so hard to believe what you stumble upon, and the number of awesome dolls dolls who I didn't expect to see at the convention was pretty incredible. A very special doll to end with is this Poppy Parker, who has been redesigned, repainted, and had this incredible fashion made for her by Jules Manley of Garden of Earthly Delights. I got to know Jules about 2 years ago when I did a video about her from her studio in Canberra, so please go and have a look at that video if you haven't. I will pop a link on it that you can click. This one, I'll be honest, I didn't actually buy at the convention. I went and visited Jules afterwards and picked her up, but I did spot her at the convention, and I probably would have bought her, except that I bought so many other dolls and I had to, you know, be careful of both space and money. But I went up to Canberra and I bought this doll, and she is still a reminder to me of the convention because she was available and ready to display there. Her outfit is made of real silk and it has been adorned with lots of little pearls. Everything is designed with the utmost care. Her face has been completely repainted, and when I saw this doll and the color and design, I thought she looked rather like, I think she's a Victorian vampire, and that's going to be my story about her. Jules is not a particular fan of the Poppy Parker body, and she does change them all onto the taller bodies, either Fashion Royalty or New Face, and I think that that really makes this doll stand out, and it makes her outfit look particularly spectacular, that it has this tall statuesque appearance alongside other poppies. She also has a pale skin tone that again to me stands out with that vampire idea. So all of the low colours, but also this style and coming from the Victorian era. She is a really beautiful doll, and I highly recommend Jules as a customizer, sewer and seller. She's a lovely person, and her work is also just really spectacular. I love this poppy. Now, the convention was an absolute blast. If you ever have an opportunity to get to a doll convention, I highly recommend it. It was probably one of the most fun weekends, if not the most fun weekend I have ever had. And the dolls I brought home are just wonderful memories and souvenirs of that event. I am going to be looking out for other doll conventions that I can go to now. One thing I didn't talk about was the brilliant table gifts that you get given on your first day of the convention. Everybody on your table gives a gift. I had such great fun with my table members, and the gifts I got were beautiful. But I didn't talk about them today because they weren't dolls. They were mostly little fashions and accessories. But thank you to the people I shared a table with. It was so much fun, and you really made that event brilliant. Please do subscribe to my channel. There are going to be lots more videos about my dolls, about my experiences, and about all the fab doll releases that I will be receiving. You can leave a comment if there is something in particular you would like to see, and I will always try to get to them as I'm making my new videos for you to see. Thank you so much. Till next time.